Hey, it's Meg. Welcome back to my channel. So today I thought we would do another craft with me session. I would really like to make some more of these collaged patchwork papers, and thank you to everyone last week who pointed out about franking paper because I had no idea, and I have since fallen down a rabbit hole of franking paper and creating these collaged papers that I'm gonna bind into a journal. I just think it's such a fun way to create like a background for your journal pages. So these are some of the ones I created last week, and we also of course had the built-in pockets as well. So I really want to make some more of these today, and I'm also going to try and do some ones that fold out as well and are like extended pages that we can flip in and out. I think that will be really fun to try. So yeah, maybe join me with whatever craft project you're working on, but I just wanted to create some more of these papers, and I'm going to bind them into this book cover, which I think I featured in my sort of vintage florals book haul, and I mentioned that this would be a really nice contender to create a journal with just because of the pattern on either side. So I've pre-done the holes on the spine just so that I didn't have to fuss around with that on camera. So I just thought I'd bring you along as I create some more of these pages, and then we're going to bind them into this book to make a junk journal. And so yeah, I might do some end papers, I'm not sure. It does look a little plain, especially compared to these papers, so we'll see. But just for now, I'm going to do some more of these papers. So I thought what would be fun to do is to maybe try extending these. So having a page that comes maybe to about here that I can fold in, and we have some like extra space for journaling. I think just with having so many like different collage papers and things like that, I'm just really excited to just try different like formats and layouts and things like that with the journal. So I'm just going to do exactly the same as I did last week in terms of picking some papers out and laying them out, just using this one as a base just because I know that it fits within the journal. So this one's a little bit like quite stark white, but I accidentally when I was tea dyeing other stuff, this was underneath, and I just thought that it was quite a cool pattern that we can use maybe as a base. So maybe I'll trim this down a bit because it is a bit stark white, like in comparison to the rest of the papers that I'm using. So let's maybe just use a small piece for now. And there's different like layouts and things you can do with the papers that you're using. You can do like large sections, smaller sections. So I just think it's a really fun way of playing with different papers. And what I've done here is I've folded this one just in half because I didn't want the plain background. But what I'm thinking is if I butt this up against the edge here, this will make a really nice tuck spot if I incorporate it into my collage. So I'm just going to leave that there for now. This is just a plain piece of paper that I have tea dyed. It's like my favorite thing to do is to use tea dyed papers. And if you're someone who like worries about having like space to journal on a junk journal in particular, then this is a really great way of making sure that you've got like plainer elements alongside your more patterned pieces, because you can control, like for example here I've just got this plain piece, and then what I can do is then add in some patterned pieces in different places so that I have something to work with. So for example, let's bring in some book page, and maybe I'll use like a larger piece back here. And what's always quite exciting about this is that I only see it from this angle as I'm sort of laying things down, so that when I turn around the piece of paper, it's like a bit of a surprise what papers look like from the other side. So I'm just going to build this up, and this is quite nice because it's got some text on one side and then it's plainer on the other side. I really like using like the different colors of papers for this. So this is something that's it's a bit fragile, but it's a lot darker. So what I'm gonna do is layer this up with other papers that I'm using on this page. So if we pop this here, and then maybe I can just pop it here, because that is a much stronger piece. Maybe we'll pop it that way, just so that way that we don't have really like fragile pieces on that section. This is like a really thin piece of paper, so I'm going to use that as like an overlap element. That's quite nice. And I think I'm going to keep this one fairly plain with the papers that I'm choosing to use on this spread. You can of course use different colours, but I think I just really like the neutrals, so that's what I'm going to use for this piece. So maybe let's use half of this because we don't need the full piece. So I'll just do that. And then pieces are always moving around, but that's okay. Let's slot that underneath. So when I glue this together, I'll make sure that we have the opening here. So maybe, in fact, if I slot this in maybe here, this can work to close the gap that we've got going on here. So it's a little bit like trying to do a puzzle, except there's no guide for how you're going to put them together, but you get some really interesting combinations. So, and it's just a really fun way to use up scraps of paper. So if you've done a project and you've got like bits left over, then it's a really nice way to still use those pieces of paper, even if you've only got sort of little bits that you might not otherwise use. So let's slot that one maybe there. And then there we go.
I wanna close my eyes and go back, play it in my mind. A movie of us two, yeah, we were happy at the time. Can't remember what it felt like. We used to be so strong. That picture perfect sky now, it looks so gray and cold. We've been laying here since 4 a.m. and you haven't said a word to me. Silent treatment, is this what it feels like when your heart is sick?
Okay, so here is my finished piece, and I'm just going to fold this one in half so we can see what it looks like. So there we go. This is a very, very neutral spread, but you can do a lot with it. And I think I'm just going to put a piece across the top there just to close the pocket, if you will. So I'm probably just going to take, maybe we'll use this because it's got a little bit of pop of colour. So that might be quite nice. And I'll just stick this over the top, and then that way we seal the pocket from the top so that it's just a little tuck spot. And again, I really like this because it's like a secret pocket. Like if you just saw the page, you wouldn't necessarily know that we've got a pocket there, but then there's just a little tuck spot, so we can just add, it goes in just like that. So that's simple, and we've got a little pocket. So the next one I'm going to do is one that is extended. so it will fold out. And I think this might be a nice opportunity to use some larger pieces of paper. So I think I'll incorporate one of these larger illustration pieces of paper that I've got. So I'm going to build a page that has a fold out. So it's going to be exactly the same in terms of building the page itself, but we're just going to make it larger essentially. So we will start off, I've got a really huge piece here which I'm not entirely sure I want to use. Because I think sometimes if the pieces of paper are too big, we kind of lose that like collage patchworky effect. So we'll use a piece like this, and then I'm just going to build out from there. So let's use maybe something like this. I might make that a bit smaller because it looks a bit too much the same size, which kind of defeats the point for something like this. So let's go maybe like there, give that a nice overlap, and then we'll use this piece, but we'll chop it down a little bit. And you also get just like the torn edges, which is a really nice effect for the page anyway. So we'll use that. Maybe we'll add some music sheet over the join here. Let's pop it that way. Then my fold out piece. So I'm gonna have, I think I want this to be like the front of the fold, and then it will fold out into something. So I'm going to just measure up here. So I think we're going to have to trim it slightly because I don't want the fold to be like right to the center. It's going to have to be a little bit shorter. We'll just build the rest of this page first, and then we will attach this and see how we want it to fold across. I'm going to use some of my favorite brown paper, and I'm just going to double it up because it is fairly thin. And I think what I want to do as well is have this the reverse of this collaged on top of, just because it's very stark white in comparison to the other side. So I'm just going to glue these down, then we will work on the fold out. Okay, so there's our main piece if we fold it to there. So that's like the base of the page, and then I'm going to work on the fold out section of this. So like I said, I don't want it to be like a complete fold to here, because then we'll get some issues with it kind of maybe like getting a bit like scuffed and things like that if it folds right in. So I'm probably going to go to about here, just so that we've got enough room to move the page and things like that. So I'm just going to use these papers as a base for this, and I'm just going to offset this slightly just so that we don't have like a complete like harsh line here, because it's going to be a continuation of this. So I'm just going to add this piece here, so just add some glue to this, and this will also strengthen the brown paper that we've got, because the brown paper is a little bit flimsy in comparison, so this will kind of help it to be a lot more sturdy, especially because it's on the fold. So I'm going to add something here as well. and I might even add in some pink paper too, but I'm just going to add some like stronger, just plain papers. So maybe we'll add this one, so I'll just add some glue to either side here and across the top, and add this one in like so. And then I'm going to add this pink piece in. It's a little bit thinner, but it will still add some strength to the page, especially because it's on the fold of our journal page. So, oops, let's just pop this maybe here. So if we fold this in at the edge of the page, so let me just find the edge of the page. So it's probably going to be easier if I fold this backwards first, just to find the edge, and then fold it inwards. So we know where our crease is now, so we will just fold the opposite way. Now we've got our piece starting to come in here. So maybe I'll leave a bit of this paper, who knows. So this is obviously way too large, so I'm probably going to trim it from this side. Maybe we'll do a little bit on each of the sides where we've got less of the illustration on it. I'm just going to tear it because I like having the kind of torn edges anyway. I think it really goes nicely with this technique rather than having really harsh edges. And then yeah, we're going to want to do a little bit off this side as well. And of course, little strips like this are great for using within other pages that we're building. So I'll probably end up working these into another page as well. So let's tear this one, and I'm obviously going to have to do the bottom as well because it's too tall. So let's see, and I think I might chop it from the top just because we've got some space here, which would be really nice to use maybe as a journal spot or as a place to do like a title, something like that. So I'm going to do it from the top and fold down. There we go, and then I'm just going to trim this part off as well. And again, this is just another piece that we can use at a later date in this journal. And so let's attach this here, and I'm going to just glue what we've already got, and then we can see then where we need to add some extra backing to this. So I'm just going to put glue across the entirety of this this page, and then pop this on the top, and I'm just going to butt it up against the edge where we have the fold, and then that folds out then into this. I'm just going to glue that down, and to be honest, that's not too bad actually. I might just add maybe some like washi tape or my paper tape to this if I can get the backing off. There we go. I can never seem to get the backing off this. So I'm just going to add maybe this to here, like so, and then maybe some of my washi tape as well, just to kind of blend this in with what's going on the rest of the page. I'm just going to maybe add one of those in there as well. And there we have the longer page that folds in and in like that. We'll go in something like this maybe. Oh, and that's a little bit wide, but that's okay, we can trim that down later. And so then you can see we would have this pop out and then fold, and then this with our little tuck spot. These are quite bulky, so I don't want to put like too many of them within the journal itself, because the journal, the book isn't very wide in terms of how wide the spine is, so I don't want to like put too much stress on the spine like straight away when we do the journal, because obviously we will add to this and it will grow when I journal in it and stuff like that. So adding papers and things like that, it will get chunkier because all my journals seem to get really chunky. So I'm just going to count, see how many pages I've got. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 there. And then I think if I got 4 here as well, it might be more than enough pages because this is quite thick to go in this journal. I don't want to put too much stress on the spine before we even add anything to it. In fact, yeah, that might actually be just about enough pages, to be honest. So then we've got 3, 3, and then 4, which works. So there we go. So there's our inners of the signatures, and then we can bind them into the journal like so. And then I think, yeah, we don't really want to get any bulkier because, like I said, we will get very chunky once we actually start working in the journals. Okay, so I've got a pen and I've got a clip as well for when I sew these in that I've got pre-done. So I'm just going to do a little marking just where I want to do the holes. You're not really going to notice it, so that's fine. And then I'm going to just add my clip so the pages don't move around whilst I make the holes. There we go, so I'll just clip that there. And then I'm just going to, with my needle, I'm just going to make the holes so that it's easier once we then come to sewing the journal itself. Okay, so this is a little bold, but I think I'm going to use this bright yellow thread for this one because I think it will contrast nicely on the cover of the journal. I don't think the pink really works too well. So normally I measure out 3 lengths of the page, and then I'm just going to thread my needle. Always I start from the inside of the journal, so the middle hole, go through and leave a gap here, and then I'm going to go through the first hole that we've got here. Then, whoops, trying to hold this all in frame, and then I'm going to go through the top hole that we've got on the cover, and then in the top hole that we've got on the papers. And then I'm going to come round back down to the bottom hole that we've got. And it's at this point I should probably check that I'm actually sewing this in the correct way. Yeah, that's the right way up. So I'm going to pop that in that one, and then around again the middle hole. And then back through into where we started. And then I'm just going to make sure that I've pulled through everything tightly and then tie a knot in this. So just making sure that it's nice and taut on all of the bits that I've gone through. And then I'm just going to pull this like upwards like this, and now I'm just going to tie several knots. So it's a really simple process. I've seen lots of intricate bindings that you can do for books, but I just find this one to be the simplest, and it's never failed me. So I'm just gonna tie this nice and tight, just so we know that it's not going to come loose, and then trim. So that's that one. Okay, so there I have my third signature, and then this is what the finished piece looks like. I know I need to do the end papers, but I just wanted to show you guys just a quick flick through of how the pages look. And I think it's just really interesting because not only do you get like a different effect with the pages when you build them, but when you kind of assemble them together and have different pages against one another, it's a really nice effect. I think I might have to do something here because that's very plain in comparison. I love this section here, and again this with like the tea stain as well, and the little envelope that we've got. So this is what it's looking like, and we've got our little fold out there. I think I'm definitely going to add maybe some more fold outs to this journal as well. Okay, so there we've got the bound journal, and these pages, do they stick out? No, they don't. They're slightly too wide, but they don't stick out of the actual journal, so that's okay. So for the inner pages, I mean, I didn't want to take the base of it out because I didn't really need to, but obviously with the edges here, they don't look too great, so I'm probably gonna maybe do some more patchworky kind of stuff, but maybe with some larger pieces. I just think it would be nice to kind of continue the theme. I've used this piece as a scrap piece of paper, so let's cut off the bit where I've put a piece of scribbled pen onto it. So I think it might be really nice just to do another patchwork section here, and this is a similar technique to what I did with the altered book inner cover. If you've seen that video, I did exactly the same, just collaging patchwork pieces of paper. You could of course use just one giant sheet of paper, but I think maybe I'll do this, and then maybe we can add, oh, should we add an illustration, or would that be too busy? Maybe these ones. Ooh, maybe that might be nice actually, but I can like make it part of the collage elements. So maybe if I chop it slightly and have it there and trim this down. And then I can put this into there and can come round. And then let's pull this straight down because I'm trying to have it be a lot more kind of tea-dyed paper kind of vibes to this. But I do also have, but I don't think that really goes with what's on this page. So let's put some glue down on this. And I could always come in and like tea dye this piece of paper, like I could just paint tea or coffee on it like I would with like watercolor or something like that. So that is something I could come in and do. So that looks really nice. And then again, I'm just going to add some more collagey bits to cover up the rest of this front cover. I think maybe if we add maybe some tape to like this section, maybe add like a label or something up here. So I was thinking maybe like one of these, and I'm not too bothered about it covering the flower, but I think that might look nice there as a plate, or maybe I should use the blue one. Might use this one. We'll see. I can always decide which one I would like to use, because I have these smaller ones too that might look nice, like this one. I'm not sure. I think I'm leaning towards that one, but maybe I'll leave it for now. Okay, so that is everything for today. I'm probably just going to repeat the process that I've done on the front just for this back cover, and then we have my next junk journal that's ready to work in with a nice book cover as well. That's the spine that we've got. So nothing too fancy, but really love how these patchwork pages are looking. So I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me for this craft with me session, and I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye guys.